Time at hand as I'm writing, With time at hand as I'm writing, it takes much more, on the table. Then meets the eyes. It's fathom only by mere thought collective, from my past life or experience to know. And what's more to go about daily to meets an end. Without time to tell you back anything. And suffice to the truth. Now this chapter always on mighty to this day we rue out. Last a lifetime. Of sincere act. Which fathom to anyone's guesses. Make up the sum total. To this day we rue I got a collective thought, process to deter things. And make it all about the truth. Mighty takes what you know and plastered it beside, the groundwork, leading up to demise. And with it comes a plethora of things. Not accounted for. And to each his own I'm writing this to show, I can come back. Without remorse leading to roach man again? The moral decay, or conduct plus treason. But there's one more the moral righteous act we've, bring to the table. Outshines us all. To no one is this act, not a treason on your part and I'll, talk about the days we lead. Leading up to match blunts with, the Michael that rolls daily. And make it about who's there not, to tell back, anything at all? Know this day is rue out, with the masses watching as you go along every day, lives leading to, the next. And many atrocious acts fathomed by time, governed not by, mere chance. That's all. To live a life we lead fathomable at best. And there's talk up there thinking Michael, shouldn't have Polly, over. Makes matter pressing at best is to know this chapter has remedies that, govern time like, pot. And make matters now, the time spent with, others. Not fathomable to say, the least. And more as we suffice to the transaction to lay ground rules. To this day people watching out of, chance to say they, aren't the masses. If you sum up everybody then why, make it about, you? And make it so happens that God intended not, reach enlightenment, fast enough? And what's more they leave you with stuff, not brought onto the plate to suffice a means. And wishful thinking on my part. To make ends worst to no avail. And make life-threatening decisions to, mock God's design. Cast aside is big on props. Stage prop and Michael must not be caring. He pinpoints that, by himself. And make matters pressing to, say the least. The congratulatory thing up to, guesses make matters how, they sell. As me writing I assure the masses they, don't got lives leading AWOL. And make things not operable at, time of peril. Nonetheless you see, it's striking daunting to, say the least. At best that kind of stage, is not for bluffs. The lifelong lesson I withhold to, lighten the load needs, excursion. To keep writing letting you, all know that. And make it on the agenda and table. And make on their own, they fathom the truth. And make congratulatory decisions made by, tormenting lives, as a game. And know now onlookers, aren't all stage, props. And make them usable. Like they can't, on their own, to make matters worst. They shun you. And make it out in one piece. To exact revenge and fruitful to make, it all a, reality at that. Nothing portrays the life we lead to make matters a pressing on. No not all the way urgent to, suffice to God's plea. Make the life we lead about others long enough to fathom not, caring in times of, great peril. And daunting or perplexing enough, for God plays a hand. He shattered lives know now, the enviable demise is, at fault. With everything we muster up, a sense of control. And point out to the truth. Fathom not only selfless acts, as they come crashing, through the window. To no one ever has this rule be rue, out entirely? That we can't enjoy it is stupid. To the lives leading up to hawk or a, mighty. We fathom knowing ourselves that, lead be lead it, the pace it went long suffice the sum of, the truth. Maybe my time did not sound so, pleasant as I'm, writing to tie over life, itself. Not ourselves no leading the, life we want to, change? Seldom matters you think? Make matters stand still and abide, by laws govern on, the subconscious level. The plane the realm we lead lives. To exact revenge is a curse of Michael's. And with this day we rue out. We value other lives, above all else. At the end of it Michael says that, we don't tell back anyone. How can time play a factor? That's to sum up he thinks he's mighty. And at all not a nerd, picking up wordplay. To heighten the summary I thought, this day never tell back time. Is not what I said. But it's to know the truth stack up people, don't matter, to you. And they think they are going to miss Polly. Jason Deng and Fernando Ruiz. Too good general, a bluff. That's what he said you think. No, that's not what he said. The suffice ends thing we know. He thinks he's good already knowledge of the future. Then he starts again, to know knowledge of the future is better, to suffice. We hate that. Popper's ready to pop him. No, we think, it deserves improvise. What is Polly even doing? Picking his nose and stuff. See, I ended with stuff. That's how they tagged that and talked about evolution. And the Denisovan and Neanderthal. One has a big Chinese head. The Denisovans, but they might be Michael's size. And Neanderthals are my size. Reverse heights. What you don't know, no one cares about Neanderthals and they'd wouldn't be anything but stacked up. Michael says. The moral decay senses are dull when it comes to Michael. Little did we know he hides a vag. It constricts him and mess with his sense receptors. The mom should know. He has to be not out and cowering or nothing. He should make it about the moral of life leading to an extent. Never realizing life as all doors are closed to you. Without no one second guess the truth. And make it about us. But what's he saying? Is not for the faint of heart. Not to life ceases to be anything wrong, but to have a condition is not kept secret as time can tell you've walked every line in order. From worst to gradually getting up there. By no means it's not about us. But no one can fathom if you don't tell them at all anything about your condition. Makes life upheaval to some degree of digressing stuff happens for a reason. And makes life unbearable for some. Like they'd be always coming to his house. To makes matters worst for him. And abide they don't cuss you out. That's the moral decay. Now we move on to the act of righteous conduct. A game you say? But no, it's enduring to know now. Without a degree in murder. We live with a serial killer. At that. Without wishful thinking he has that on. Is so tempting the gods want a lightning strike. Believe it or not. Tells back when you least expect it to. And make a life worth living tolerable. The end of the chapter, and now we reach up to the realm of the real. With real power coming in the form of power, without nothing. And what's more, I sum up in this book I am, literate and lost a part of school, I value above all else. It's the friends I can come up on later when the colonizing starts off. To make matters its absolute control over matter. That life to cease to be the way they portray themselves as a whole. And we went down to you know where? When we mentioned Fernando the outtaker. Beating up gay guy. The rest is all in my head. From the Hallianizing. And make it about the lives leading up to getting them back. I can even include friends like Noah, Jamie, and Fernando the outtaker. To lead their own mission of lightning striking, Michael? That's for most of you that preach life goes on. To a mere T they don't grasp enough at straws. Never count the chicken until the egg is hatched. Means something when I look for proof. Sometimes eager to please I fathom all control over the lives of so many. We'll have a help seminar and bridge that gap towards everlasting life. That's to joke that these chapters are made without consent. When everybody's on your side. Never make it past the trial stage. And make owning up to you, who who matter most. And make it out alive. That's to no moral act of righteous conduct a game. Or however I said it. The first time. And makes livelihood matter for some, not others in the game/group of people that make up the masses in our heads. That match with the subconscious and beyond, further up to grasping at straws. Long to tie over your beliefs and make them a reality. Without much condolences and waver to the flag of absolute daunting, fake out the masses with your endeavor.